firstly, thank you all for dialing in to today's webinar. I wanted to give it a couple minutes for people to join, but they can just join as they like. So I know that there's a mix of institutions today on the call, all interested in finding a bit more about Handshake. So I'm Hannah. I'm going to be hosting the webinar today. My role is on the education partnerships team here at Handshake. And essentially what we do is help grow our partner network of institutions to empower career services and employers. So I used to actually work in the business employability service at the University of Greenwich, and I've now worked at Handshake for about 2 years. So you can expect me to have the floor for about 30 minutes, and I'll try to give you back some time at the end, but we'll conduct a short Q&A at the end as well. If you have any questions during the webinar, please do feel free to pop them into the chat window. If you're not familiar with Zoom, there's a chat function at the bottom. You can pop in questions along the way, and from there, I'll try and answer them. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick overview of Handshake, who we are, what we do, and from there, look at some of the reasons why we help support smaller teams and smaller institutions. So essentially, we will start with a quick overview of what our mission is. And as a company, we're here to democratize access to opportunity. So what that means is we are trying to build a platform network that helps every student build a meaningful career. So no matter where they went to university or college, what they're studying, who they know, and it's essentially a no network required or no experience required network. So specifically for students in that sense. And we know today that students are overwhelmed and inundated with tools competing for their attention. And sometimes it can be difficult to let them know that there is a career service at the institution and engage with them because they're overwhelmed with all the things that's out there. We don't want them to end up on Zoom or not Zoom, Google or Indeed, Glassdoor. We want them to come to the career service. So Handshake's trying to help them make these connections, and it can be difficult typically for other systems that aren't intuitive and inviting for a student to come back to. They don't see it adding value. So with Handshake, students can find all the resources and find their career service within the platform, and giving your team that visibility and allowing you to guide the students on their career journey. So Handshake sees education partners as a crucial part and kind of the core of the Handshake network. So what we've done is we've created this ecosystem, so a network for early talent, a network for students. And essentially this is where young professionals can kind of showcase their work experience, skills, all the things they're learning during their academic journey. So Handshake's that one-stop shop for all things employability, but also then engaging with employers and developing on to building more experience and a career, essentially. So whilst we started in the US, we launched in the UK back in 2020 now. From there, we have developed our university partnerships team, and we're actually we've recently had an acquisition with Talent Space in Germany. So for many institutions and colleges today, the reasons that they join Handshake or have adopted the platform within the career service is because of our student first experience, but because it's engaging, and hopefully I'll bring that to life today. But secondly is this network architecture that you're seeing here on the screen. So it's a network that connects institutions with employers and their students all in one place to try streamline the early talent recruitment process for lots of different employers, but also those administrative tools, which hopefully I'll walk through as well. So things like reporting, appointment scheduling, These are designed to save small teams time while supercharging their impact and reducing costs. So the numbers you're seeing on the screen here are the numbers across the US. In terms of UK, we're expanding our partnerships, and we hope to continue to expand the education partnerships we have. This is a nice quote actually from an institution we work with. And it's saying, we used another platform and recently switched to Handshake in October last year. And it's like going from a go-kart to a Cadillac. That quote kind of brings to life how our tools are enabling small teams to do more with less. So we did traditionally start with working with four-year universities, I guess, of all shapes and sizes. But in 2020 in the US, we decided to start working with community and technical colleges. So it's now 2022, and we're hoping to expand our network by working with further education colleges and other institutions in the UK to bring them onto the network and partner with them. But today, we will be giving an overview of the student experience and career service side of the platform, just to pick out a few tools that we know make our platform unique and can add the most value to teams. So we'll start with the student experience, and I wanted to showcase kind of where we're going with that, but also bring to life a bit about how our mobile app is engaging and how we are student first company as well. So in terms of challenges, it's good to start here because we know student engagement can be challenging for lots of institutions. Essentially, a couple of challenges that have come to the light in conversations that we've been having with institutions is actually that it's super difficult to cut through the noise. You know, students are bombarded with information, and it's kind of like they shut off from some emails that they're receiving. It has to be relevant and personalized and tailored to them for them to engage. So that's another thing, a challenge, I suppose, making sure that that content is personalized and that it is targeted at a specific cohort of students, for example. But then institutions are also having to use multiple tools. So managing their CRM of employers or students in one place, and then, you know, going to MailChimp to create a nice email. You know, that's a challenge because it's time consuming, but also it's joining the dots. Lastly, kind of tracking how effective this engagement is in terms of sending communication about careers related activities to students, to employers. You know, it can be difficult in seasonal periods, you know, like summer, to see if employers are engaging with a fair maybe you're having later in the year. But lastly is making sure that your platform you're using is optimized for mobile and reaching students where they are. And I did want to talk about this a bit because Handshake has a mobile app, but we're also available on desktop. And we see that 32% of our site traffic over the last term anyway was triggered from emails sent by universities and colleges via our targeted email tool. So whereas social media channels only drove 2.7% of traffic. So we really do see that email is the key driver to student engagement when it comes to careers anyway. It's definitely a competition for students' attention. So we want to help you win that battle. And this was talking about our student mobile apps. So having said that we launched in the UK 2 years ago, we've got 200,000 active student users who are supported through mobile and desktop. But the mobile users are 2.3 times as likely or more likely to form a connection with an employer and engage more regularly. So keep coming back to Handshake, you know, on the mobile app, on their phones, whether it's on the bus. They can passively engage, like we're seeing scrolling here, what's on with the career service, what events you're hosting, maybe even book an appointment with yourselves. And I do want to bring to life what the student experience is actually like today. So that's kind of where I'm navigating here. What we'll do is we'll switch over to the actual Handshake platform. Now, this is a demo account, I should say. So let me just pull that up here. This is a demo account. So what I'm saying is that if you spot any Americanisms, this is all fake data, and our UK site has been fully localized. So please don't worry there. But with that being said, we have navigated to the student dashboard within Handshake. So the first time a student logs in, they're going to be asked a couple questions so that we can get to know them better and tailor the dashboard and content that's going to be relevant to them. So asking them questions like, what location would you like to find a job in? What industries are you interested in? Or what values perhaps you want a company to have that you want to work for? Things like that help us engage students with the student dashboard, because we know it's hard to keep their attention. So this discovery page is unique to other systems because it was designed with personalization at the core. That's where I'm getting at here. So each student can passively scroll, like in the Instagram app. Every day, you follow and you like relevant things that you're interested in. Handshake's discovery page is similar to that. So they can see employers offering one-to-one video chats, that they could find time, 15 minutes with an employer on the platform, and ask a couple questions before maybe making a job application. That's also, they can see career fairs, events relevant to them. So with the Handshake app, you don't need to train students how to use it. They can take this kind of lean back approach, consume articles, see events while they're walking to a lecture. So Handshake adds value by being that highly personalized network that your students actually want to use. So we know that 20% of students say the biggest obstacle to their future career success is not actually knowing what they want to do. So that way, this is surfacing opportunities that are going to be maybe of interest to them. But if they did know what they wanted to do and they maybe wanted to do a quick job search, you can also do that here. So I've navigated to the job search page. Students, we don't want them ending up on Google. We don't want them on Indeed, LinkedIn, because maybe they don't know what to search for. And to bring that to life, one of my colleagues, Francis, actually used to work at Indeed, and he shared that the most searched thing was actually nothing. So if a student did know, however, where maybe an employer they wanted to work for or a specific industry, they could search Walt Disney, let's say, and find what opportunities are being advertised by that employer. So with the Handshake network, how it works is that each and every employer can make a profile on Handshake today. It's absolutely free for them to join the platform. So if you're an institution looking to partner with us, you can bring along your employer contacts and they can make a profile just like this one. From here, a student can find out more about that employer from what's publicly available on Handshake. Things like what jobs are out there, but also what students have worked there. They can see a staff public list as well as upcoming events that employer is going to be at. We do like to try alleviate that blank text box syndrome. So there's some populated messages a student could send to reach out, get in touch, and kind of have a community to learn more. They can also see some reviews of what it's like to work at that company. Again, encompassing things like Glassdoor and making sure your students aren't having to go to different places to find that key information. And from here, this is why, we're the largest early talent recruitment platform out there, but we want you to be able to see and track the engagement of your students all in one place. So students can easily filter their job search, but also you can then track whether they're making an application to Walt Disney. You can track the success of that application from your side as a careers team. You can see where students are interested in working in and see if they were successful. In terms of a student kind of showcasing their skills and work experience, perhaps, we do have a profile. So every student on Handshake is prompted to complete the Handshake profile. Essentially, they could upload a copy of their CV and parse in the information here. So this enables them to showcase their skill sets as well as courses they're doing, education. But a key piece of the Handshake network is that they can choose their privacy settings. So a student can decide whether they want to be visible to the network or whether they're not ready yet and maybe need to book an appointment with yourselves to make sure that this profile is fully optimized. And it's in their best interest to do that because the profiles and students on Handshake, about 85% are now receiving messages from employers. So this network approach enables employers to be proactive in sourcing students that have expressed they're actively looking for a job. They have the skills they're looking for and perhaps, have already applied, and they could actually message the student on the platform. From there, inviting them to an event or inviting them to a coffee chat. So we've talked about how the student can market themselves, but we haven't spoken about how they can engage with your service. Essentially, you can engage with the career service here or directly on the dashboard that we opened up with. Here is kind of your one-stop shop for all things careers related. Typically, we hear that institutions rely on having to manually set up appointments and manage them through email and do events on Zoom or Microsoft Teams. And typically that can be time consuming, but also I know from experience, it can be difficult to track. Again, you never want a student to be double booked. It's happened to me sitting at the front desk when I worked at the University of Greenwich. You don't want two students showing up at the same time. So you can actually book an appointment within Handshake, and we've created an offering of customized appointment types so that you can support students no matter where they are on their career journey. So whether it's appointment for students that have graduated, or it's a specific apprenticeship or placement, application review, students can find those appointments. But also these appointment types are customizable again. So giving your service that flexibility to have that tailored offering for students. And they can grab some time with a careers advisor because we have a two-way calendar sync that enables the careers team to, block in some time that they're going to be available to see appointments. And that reflects like we're seeing on the student side. They can grab some time with one of your team and from there select the medium that suits them. I will call out that we have video on Handshake. This is a new embedded feature where if you wanted to host a series of appointments on the platform or perhaps some events with employers or a careers fair, that tool is built in within the platform. I'll jump back to the Careers Center and just show some of the other features here, giving an overview of resources, some blogs, articles you wanted to showcase to your students. But again, managing things on spreadsheets or managing things through email, again, can be time consuming. We do have a built-in experiences tool enabling you to manage your students that are going out on work experiences. The last thing I'll mention here is surveys. So if you wanted to survey your tools and not have to use Microsoft Forms or whatever it is, you can again survey students, at the end of an academic year, those going on work experience, and get feedback from your students and manage that here. I will scroll down and just showcase some upcoming events, public staffing list. This is your one-stop shop for all things careers related. Again, highlighting employers that you work with to students that are maybe great for internships, placements, enabling students to identify, the employers that you work with on a regular basis. From there, students can apply and find out more about that employer. Now, I will kind of zoom out for a second because I wanted to show a quote from one of the universities that we work with. So I'll jump back to my slides without giving anyone seasickness, but we'll jump to this slide because University of Falmouth University partnered with us some time ago now, but they actually started with like a clean slate. So whilst we do enable institutions to bring along their employer contacts to the platform and manage that as a CRM, if you like, Falmouth actually started with a clean slate, and it was quite nice to be able to demonstrate the scale of the network, but also the impact. So being able to connect with employers locally, nationally, and internationally has been a really important part of our strategy. The organic growth of the network has been fairly phenomenal, with us connecting with over 900 new employers since launch across a range of different industries. So organically, Falmouth University were able to grow their employer connections. I know today that they have over 3,000, 4,000 companies that they work with. And from there, that's just going to grow as the Handshake UK network grows with the more institutions we partner with. Our employer team are also growing that side of the platform as well, which is nice to just bring to life a bit. This was saying that everything you need to support your students, but also employers, is going to be available in the platforms, but also all of this data that will be readily available for you to be able to demonstrate the impact of the career service within your institution. So being able to report back on all of the activities, marketing efforts, events, job applications that is going on within your careers team. So this kind of lends us a nice transition over to the careers service side of the platform to bring to life kind of some of the tools we've briefly spoken about. And I appreciate this is just a high level overview of the platform today. But if you are interested in finding out more, you could definitely drop us an email, and I'll leave that on the screen at the end of this presentation. So I'll switch over. This is something you'll have access to do as a careers team. We can switch over to the careers service account, where these tools you're seeing on the left-hand side are going to be the same user-friendly tools and experience for your team to leverage. Now, this will seem like a lot, but we'll put our careers advisor hats on so that we can kind of see we've seen how it'll translate onto the student side, but go into some of the tools today. I did speak about earlier the targeted email tool. So I'll try bring that to life in the sense that we know that institutions want to be able to communicate in different mediums with their students, and appreciate there's different touch points along the way to engage them. But with our targeted email tool, what you're able to do as an institution is kind of streamline that process. If you wanted to create a bulk email or newsletter, perhaps to a group of students, you can do so. So I will build this out just briefly. And Handshake has some readily available templates for you to engage with and personalize to your students. So we'll say Handshake's now available, and from here, see this nice email template that you could customize with your institution's branding. So from here, you could add perhaps some jobs that are relevant to the group of students you're going to send them to. You could add in maybe marketing the internship and attach that there, and students could engage with that job through this email. So from here, you can select the cohort of students that you would like to send this email to. Perhaps it's first year students, second year students, and filter that down. From here, we're going to hypothetically send this email. We'll have to do one filter, has a public CV. So from here, we will, you could schedule this email to send every Monday, as a weekly newsletter, or perhaps at the end of the month. Scheduling that email to save you time again, but also streamline this workflow. Save the details, and from here, we're going to hypothetically send this email to 331 students. I wanted to go through that process with you today because being able to track and effectively see how successful your email was, you can track the unique open rates and click rates of the email on the platform today. So you could also send these emails to employers through your contacts on the platform. So I definitely wish I had this tool when I was in the career service, where I would spend hours each week on MailChimp and Canva, finding lots of jobs to spam business school students with. But I talked about how you could send these emails to employers. I wanted to talk about managing your employers on Handshake. So having that CRM one-stop shop for managing your employers all in one place. I do appreciate that it can be difficult, especially when employers or recruiters change positions and you're constantly updating their information. This can take time. So on Handshake, you can find new employers, but you can also bring along the ones you currently work with. We want you to be able to seamlessly manage your existing contacts. So keep track on notes and collaborate with the team. You can see here that these employers have been approved by your institution, and get a quick snapshot of what's going on, how many jobs they're posting on the platform. And from here, you can also find out more about that employer. So if I clicked in here, we can see the company details, how many, who to connect with, the staff members. So grabbing their email, maybe you want to shoot them a quick note and invite them to an event that you're hosting for your students. You can do so here. So whilst this saves you time, we want to be able to have bulk actions as well. So if you want to bulk email a group of employers, like I was saying, inviting them to an event, or perhaps telling them about sending them a resource, something like that, you can bulk do these bulk actions. So bulk approving employers from there. Lastly, I am conscious of time and I don't want to take up too much of everyone's time here, but it's important to talk about Handshake Analytics, and that is our reporting suite. So I've just spoken about some of the tools in Handshake today. I appreciate there's a lot more, and if anyone is interested in digging into some of the tools you see on the left-hand side, please do feel free to reach out to us. But Handshake Analytics is a way for you to explore, gain insight, save, and share your data within your institution. So we want to be able to help you as a small team be able to unlock real-time data and insights and be able to tell that desired story. You don't need to be an expert again, and it doesn't need too much manipulation. The way I like to explain this tool is that there's 3 ways to easily get data out of the platform. Maybe sending it to someone at a senior level of your institution. So from here, you have saved reports and scheduled reports. In terms of Handshake being a network, we do encourage our partners to share their saved reports that are really useful and we think are good practice, kind of sharing best practices with other institutions. You can have some private reports to you. So obviously these reports will only be inclusive of your data. From here, this is a private report, but it's just bringing to life what this saved report is looking like. So if you wanted to see where your students are going on work experience, you can look at that within the platform, whether it's by location, industry, employer, and get a feel for the tools on the left-hand side as well as the right. But you can have a nice visualization here of a map where they're studying or where they're working. And from here, you could actually download this data into an Excel file. I mean, someone was telling me the other day, they still like having everything in a folder on their desktop, and that's fine. You can have that to download. You can again share this internally, and you can duplicate these reports again and again. We do have a wonderful success and support team that could help you build out these reports if they were pretty unique and you wanted them to be tailored to specific data you were trying to find. So that's one way you can report on Handshake. The second way is these pre-built dashboards. So tracking things like job applications, job postings, student activity, event registrations. From here, we could get an overview of maybe the student activity on the platform and just bring that to life. So these dashboards are all pre-built and they'll enable you to get a quick screenshot or snapshot of what's going on within your careers team, seeing that data and again being able to manipulate it but also bring it to life. My internet has failed us here, apologies, but I'll jump back to the dashboards. There'll be the similar visualizations, pie charts, being able to make it look nice if you like. And scheduling these reports, I don't have any scheduled reports now, but if you wanted a report to run perhaps at the end of each month, you can do so and it would come straight into your inbox. I know, having spoke to an institution a while back, when interviewing them, they were telling me of how it's fantastic that they can have this data at their fingertips. I suppose being able again to demonstrate the scale of, or I guess the success of the careers team within the institution, that's something that's becoming more and more prevalent, being able to share that data upwards. And I will jump back to my slides. I appreciate everyone's time looking at the platform with me today. So you can have oversight of all of that information in one place. But I didn't mention that that Handshake can also integrate with your VLE or CRM software that you currently have. So you can log all future and past interactions if you were to partner with Handshake. Jumping to another lovely partner testimonial, and this is relevant because this webinar is best practices for colleges and small institutions. So this was from one of our partners in the US, and they said that we are a two-person office with very limited resources. I was surprised to find out how affordable Handshake really is. The whole process, procurement, contracting, and implementation was amazing. We were able to implement in 4 weeks, and don't be intimidated by the product and bringing it to a small office. This is really nice because it speaks to where we're trying to bring the network, and that's to a place that supports all students. From here, I did want to see if there was any questions, but appreciate if people would rather ask them off air. That is absolutely fine. We have our UK partnerships email here. And lastly, I will say that I hope this demo brought to life for you what it's like to switch to Handshake. We do hope to be a genuine partner for your team. So thank you all so much for joining demo. I really appreciate you listening. If there's any questions, I am happy to stick around now and answer them. But if you'd like to see some further deep dives of the platform, feel free to reach out over email. I can pop this email the UK partnerships at joinhandshake.com. I was going to pop it in the chat, but you can see it on the screen here. And appreciate there's no questions at the moment. Happy to wrap up early then and give you all some time back. So thank you again for joining. Hope to see you at the next webinar. And from here, hope you have a lovely rest of your weeks. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to stop sharing and end the webinar now. Thank you. Cheers.